Hey guys, Jenny PRD, registered dietitian and nutrition expert. Thanks so much for checking in. This video is another grocery haul meal planning video for you. So I'm going to give you 5 easy dinners for you to make this week, as well as nutrition tips along the way to talk about the different ingredients I'm using and a few pantry staples as well. Things that I always have on hand and the different foods I added to for all those extra nutritious things in our lives. So first things first, we are going to have stuffed peppers. So stuffed peppers, really easy, really delicious, and can be so good for you because peppers are a great source of vitamin C. So whatever peppers you like, I love red peppers and I love green peppers. I actually love orange and yellow too. So all of them are really delicious, but really easy. Rinse them and then cutting around the top of that stem, pull it out and rinse out all those little seeds. And then once you have that done, I usually throw them in a pot of water, boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes so they get nice and soft. And while that is cooking or boiling, we can cook up our meat. So meat, you can get ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork, whatever you prefer. But ideally, you want 90% or even 93% lean, 7% fat. Next time you're at the grocery store, I challenge you to compare those food labels, and you will in fact see that they are very similar in saturated fat, total fat, calories, protein, all of that, as long as you are comparing apples to apples. So as long as it's the percent 93-7, 90-10, they're all going to be really similar in all of those things that I just listed. So this week we are going to have turkey with it. A lot of times I simply make beef because, again, the saturated fat is equivalent to the turkey if I'm buying the 93-7. So saute up that turkey. While that's cooking, we are going to make our brown rice. So a lot of times there's frozen brown rice now. You can totally buy that because that's easy. Or you can make minute rice in just a few minutes, which is awesome. So brown rice is a whole grain. There's some fiber in it. There's iron. And it is slightly better than white rice because of that fiber, and again, it being a whole grain, but a good choice in food. So once our peppers are done, we're going to drain them, and then we can combine the meat with the cooked rice and the sauce. So a lot of times I make my own sauce. I'm going to talk to you about that when I talk about my pasta, but really easy. Well, I'll just talk to you about it now. So I tend to buy these little 8-ounce jars of no added salt sauce. And then what I do is I add a can of, that's my corn, of added tomatoes. So no added salt tomatoes with this no added salt sauce. 1 to 2 of these, depending on how saucy you like your pasta, and your stuffed peppers. But cook that in a pan, throw some olive oil in there, as well as oregano and basil, garlic powder, maybe some red pepper flakes, kind of whatever seasonings you like to make your own sauce, because a lot of times jarred sauce has a lot of added sodium. So when you go to the grocery store, look at the sauce, look at the sodium, and instead of looking at the milligrams, look at the percent DV or daily value column, and you want to see the percent. So this is for all packaged foods. 5% or less is low, 20% or more is high. So things you want low or lower is going to be sodium, saturated fat, cholesterol. Things that you want high are vitamins and minerals, fiber, things like that. So that's why a lot of times I do make my own sauces, because it's easy and there's no added salt. So very good for your heart and overall health. So that's our stuffed peppers. So the stuffed peppers is with the rice, the ground turkey that we're going to saute and cook up, adding some sauce to that, and then putting that in the peppers. Bake them in the oven with some cheese on top for just a few minutes until the cheese gets melty, because everything is already cooked. Another meal we're going to do is French toast, because let's face it, having breakfast for dinner sometimes really can be fun. So, of course, I'm using my favorite bread, my Sara Lee Delightful bread. Why is it my favorite? Low in calories, good source of fiber, and whole grain first ingredient. So it checks all those boxes when it comes to choosing a good bread or a good whole grain. So really easy. Instead of using all eggs with the yolk, why don't you half it, right? Throw out some of those yolks and you still get all the benefits of the egg white, all the protein in it with a lot less calories and cholesterol. And so scramble up or mix up those eggs with the whites, add some vanilla, add some cinnamon, a splash of milk, dip in your pieces of bread, griddle them up, and I'm gonna top it with some sliced strawberries as well as sliced bananas and some blueberries. Another way you can save a little bit of calories is by mixing your syrup and maybe doing a dusting of powdered sugar. So that's 2 meals, stuffed peppers, French toast, and then we are going to have quesadillas, kind of. So whenever I make quesadillas, really easy, I use these whole wheat tortillas. So whole wheat tortilla, what we're looking for, again, at least 3 grams of fiber per 100 calories, and first ingredient to be whole grain wheat or whole grain. So we know that it is whole grain and primarily whole grain. So these are 130 calories, 3 grams of fiber, and whole grain is the first ingredient. So a little higher than the 100 calories for 3 grams of fiber, but a lot of tortillas really do have a lot of calories. So you do want to look and compare and make sure you're not having a 400 calorie tortilla before you start adding all this stuff inside. So what I tend to add are no added salt corn from a can, as well as no added salt black beans, and of course tomatoes. So really easy to cook this up on the stove together. Add some chili powder to get it really nice and delicious and flavorful. Add some onion powder if you want. Even cut up an onion and saute that in there for all those antioxidants as well. So this quesadilla mix-up I'm talking about is, instead of making quesadillas, I turned these into chips. Really easy to do. Set your oven for 400 degrees. Spray both sides of a tortilla with some cooking spray, olive oil, and then bake it in the oven for about 5 to 7 minutes each side, and then out comes this nice firm tostado, and you can cut it up into little pieces of chips. So that's what I did, and then I added the black beans, corn, and the tomatoes. I sprinkled some white sharp cheddar cheese on top, microwaved that, so it was just this delicious cheesy, I don't know, can you call it a salsa? Corn, black bean, tomato mix, and then dipped the chips in it, and it was so delicious. A lot of times my kids and my husband will have non-fat Greek yogurt on the side to dip it in for some added protein. So again, there's ways to make all these maybe forbidden foods that it's just by choosing healthier ingredients and still enjoying yourself. So another dinner that we are going to do, I talked about pasta. So always in my house we have whole grain pasta. Why? Because it is a good source of iron, a great source of fiber, heart healthy, it's a whole grain, it's just better for you. I have a bunch of pasta videos. If you just type in Jenny PRD pasta, there's about 4 or 5 videos where I compare all different pastas for you. But a tip or a hint, this one is always the best choice, the whole grain pasta. So what I'm going to do is saute up some spinach and tomato and mushroom and onion. And then my sauce, I told you how I make my red sauce. So this time, maybe I'll just do a garlic olive oil sauce. So really easy. Put a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil in a pan, saute some minced garlic. A lot of times I buy that minced garlic in a jar right in the produce section because it lasts a lot longer than the cloves of garlic that I tend to throw out because I don't use it all up. So olive oil and garlic, saute that up while I'm sauteing those vegetables, and cook this pasta. Save a little bit of the pasta water and then combine all of that together with some of that water to kind of stretch that olive oil sauce, and it's going to be so delicious. So 7 grams of pasta 7 grams of protein per serving of pasta. If you feel that's not enough, you can add a 1/4 cup of reduced fat mozzarella cheese on top for another 7 grams, so that puts you at 14 grams of protein. Or you can saute up some chicken and add that, and then you have plenty of protein there. And then our last dinner for the week are pork chops. So I Googled this recipe, easy pork chop sheet pan dinner. So it is from the Busy Baker, and I'm going to put the link in the description below for you. But it seems really easy. I've never had it before, but it looks delicious too. So pork chops, pork can be a very lean cut of meat. Whenever you are buying meat, you want to look for meats that are leaner, so there's going to be less of that white fat and marbling. So pork tenderloin, very lean, and pork chops can be very lean. You can just trim away that fat that is on it, or if there's not too much, you can keep it. So pork chops, as well as it calls for some baby carrots, which we always have on hand. I have these all the time with hummus at lunchtime or dinner, add it to my salad. So this is a staple, as well as having it with the dinner. This week, some frozen green beans. I get Italian green beans because they are a great source of vitamin C. Really cool tip for you. And then potatoes. So a typical baking potato, you're going to cut it up into 1-inch pieces, so everything cooks about the same time in the oven. So again, I'll attach that recipe or copy or paste it in the description below for you. So the 5 meals this week are the pork chops, the stuffed peppers, the quesadilla mix-up, French toast, and some veggie pasta. So that leads me to some pantry staples. So something I always have on hand are wheat germ and ground flaxseed. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about wheat germ. Wheat germ is a fabulous source of vitamin E, which is great for your skin, and it is an essential nutrient that we need. So what I tend to add this to, I add my ground flaxseed to. So this is organic ground flaxseed. If you look at the ingredients, it says flaxseed, and you can see that it is ground. So if you buy the whole seeds, they come out the same way that they go in. So you really want a flaxseed meal or a ground consistency, more of a powdery. So what do I add these to? Our oatmeal every single morning, our yogurt every single day, and if we don't have yogurt, I'm making smoothies that I add it to. Whenever I make pancakes or even breads, not like loaf bread, but banana bread or zucchini bread, things like that. Any type of moist thing you can add it to. Even applesauce. I add these both all the time to my baby's unsweetened applesauce with some cinnamon. So we talked about the vitamin E. In this, there's also some fiber, 2 grams in 2 tablespoons. So that's fantastic. 4 grams of protein in 2 tablespoons. And then this, our flaxseed, is 4 grams of fiber in 2 tablespoons and 2 grams of protein. So this is a good source of heart-healthy fats, those omega-3 fatty acids. So that's why, adding more ground flaxseed or omega-3s to your diet is pro-heart health for you. So quick look over my table. I think I talked about everything with you guys. I hope that you find this video helpful. Let me know, comments below, what meals you plan to try, what meals you do try, which ones you like. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Quick shout out to my Fat to Fit weight loss group on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.